Hi. Today I'm just going to go through menus. The type of menu that you're after is really dependent on a budget, a target audience, and a frequency. So basically, how many that you need, and the recency. So how often you need to change the information on it, and those elements will determine really the type of menu that you end up with. But again, where your positioning is going to make a huge amount of difference to the end result. So I'll start with a standard menu. This is an A3 sheet. So that's a single A3 sheet. Printing presses tend to be A3 is the smallest format, really. So this is, if you've got a reasonable amount of information, the A3 sheet is a good way to get a reasonable amount of information on the table in front of the client at a reasonable type size, so that, depending, as I say, on your clientele, they can see that. This is another example. It's the same concept. So these are very popular. The difference these days is in paper stocks. These are all laminated, so it means that you can wipe them off to a certain extent. COVID has enabled us to just have paper menus, which is similar to this. It's just paper stock. And these people on here, they've just written the pricing in here, so it's left blank, and they change that as and when they want. This is also a A3 menu, but instead of it being folded in three, it's just a single sheet. So if I take an A3 menu previously, it's folded into three, and then you'll see that that A3 and that A3 is the same size. So that's a standard A3 menu. This is another example of an A3 menu as such, like so. So those are all fairly standard. Then you've got a sort of smaller format. So this is an A4 sheet that's folded. This is out of an A3 sheet, but it's cut, so it's slightly shorter. So it just looks a little bit wider and shorter, but it's basically out of an A3 sheet. And then in there's a supplementary. I think this is a supplementary menu sheet. So that's a cut down A5 that fits inside. So those are all folded menus. Then the next step up from that, if you wanted to go a little smarter, would be for what we call stitched menus. Stitched menus is just menus with a staple. So this is a square one. As you can probably see, it's quite an upmarket restaurant, and then you've got your cocktails and so on and things in here. So this is a stitch. By that we mean it's got, I don't know if you can see that, it's got a staple here and a staple there. So that's stitched. This again is, I think we've got a gatefold somewhere. This again is quite an upmarket. Is this gatefolded? No. A restaurant. So this has got, again, this menu is stapled in there. The beauty of this is that you can staple these in. So there is stringing as well, so you can have elastic string that comes around. So there's a variety of ways of keeping these in here. Again, if the information is changing fairly regularly. So, and these are the little bar cards and things that come with the thing. So it's all quite smart. This is so this is similar to those A3 ones, but again, it's a bit shorter. And then in here, there is again another stapled menu that sits in that. Finally, this is a quite a nice posh one. So this has got this is multi-page, and then they've got response slips in there at the same time. So this is actually just the living room menu. So you've got a whole range of things in there. Very nice job to have. After that, you can go to sort of board back, or well, paper over board, or just wherever you want to go, really. So this is a paper over board. These are drilled holes with studs in, and those studs keep the paper, the actual menu paper in there. So this is solid board. So you have those type of options. This is quite. This paper is actually really expensive, but the menu is actually in the end. This menu inside, these are printed off internally, and then they're tied in. So it just gives quite a nice effect. This is again paper. So this is not paper over board, but it's double thick. So it's like a folder, and then the menu hangs into there. I think I've got. So this is the stubbier one. So in here you could just, I don't know if you can see, there's little grips. So the paper sheet will sit in there. Yeah, this one's off a folder, so that just sits within in the folder. This is, oops. So this is just a double sheet in which the menu sheet fits. So it just gives it a little bit of a lift on the quality, and then within that there's a standard menu as well, and that sits inside here. So there's a range of different things that you can get. As I said, that to hold the stock in, you can do you can drill it in. You can put a ribbon in. You can string it in. You can elastic in. So there's a whole range of things you can do for multi-page menus. At the moment, there's a couple of things that have changed slightly. So one is single-use menus, mainly because of the COVID situation, but they act as a placemat as well. So you've got a flat sheet, and at the end of the meal, they're just taken away, and it's like a placemat just on paper. And then the other thing that's happening as well is that anti-bac. There's a laminate that's anti-bac that reduces contamination, and also PVC. So there's recyclable PVC menus that look just like paper, but you can't tear them, and then they're multi-use. So those are the different things that are there for menus. If you need any further information, please contact RWP Group, www.rwpgroup.com. Thank you.